Hi everyone, so today we will learn about ratio and how to simplify them. Okay, let's have for example 2 is to 6. How do we simplify ratio if we have 2 is to 6? Remember that ratio is related to fraction. So when we simplify ratio, it's just like simplifying a fraction. We can write ratio 2 is to 6 as 2 over 6. In simplifying 2 over 6, we find common factor between the numerator 2 and the denominator 6. The common factor between the two is 2. So we will divide each of them by their common factor 2. And then by dividing, we'll have 1 over 3. And 1 over 3 can be written as 1 is to 3. Therefore, 2 is to 6 can be written in lowest form as 1 is to 3. Let's try another example. Let's try to get the simplest form of 4 is to 14. Okay? The common factor between 4 and 14 is 2. So we will divide both the numbers by 2. So we will get 2 is to 7. So therefore, the simplest form of 14 or 4 is to 14 is 2 is to 7. I will show you another example, but this time I will give you time to solve for this one. Now it's your time to solve and find the simplest form of the ratio 8 is to 32. I will give you 10 seconds to do that. You may now start. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, let us discuss your answer. The question was, what is the simplified form of 8 is to 32? Just like we mentioned, we find a common factor between 8 and 32. And that is 8. Therefore, we will divide each of them by 8. By dividing each of them by 8, we will be getting the simplified form, which is 1 is to 4. Therefore, the simplified form of 8 is to 32 is 1 is to 4. Did you get the correct answer? Good job, guys. Let us have another example. This time, we have 42 is to 12. Again, I'll give you few moments to answer and simplify the ratio 42 is to 12. And your time starts now. Okay, let's now try to answer and find out what is the simplified form of 42 is to 12. It's possible that you can find a common factor between 42 and 12 and write 2. 2 is also a common factor between 42 and 12, so it's possible to divide them by that number. So if we have 42 divided by 2, we have 21. Is 2, 12 divided by 2 will have 6. But you will notice that there is still a common factor between 21 and 6. For that reason, we can say that 21 is to 6 is not yet in simplest form because they still have a common factor, which is 3. By dividing both of them by 3, we'll get 7 is to 2. So the simplified form of 42 is to 12 is 7 is to 2. Or if you can easily find the greatest common factor between 42 and 12, that would be equal to 6. So by dividing 6, both of the numbers 42 and 12 will get 7 is to 2 right away. And let's see, is there anything else aside from 1 common factor between 7 and 2? If there's none, which means 7 is to 2 is already the simplest form of 42 is to 12. But please take note that 42 is to 12 and 21 is to 6 are called equivalent ratios. Because when we simplify both of these, we will get the same simplest form or ratio, which is 7 is to 2. Now, let's try finding the missing number in the given ratio. For example, if we have 3 is to 8 is equal to 12 is to what number? How do we find the missing number in this ratio? We know that we have 3 is to 8 for our first ratio, and the second ratio is 12 is to a missing number. For us to find the missing number, we need to find a number that we can multiply to 3 so that the answer will be equal to 12. And that is multiplying 3 by 4. Because 4 times 3 is 12. Therefore, if we can multiply 3 by 4 to get 12, we will do the same thing on 8. So 8 times the number 4 will be equal to 32. Which means the missing number in the ratio 3 is to 8 is equal to 12 is to black is actually equal to 32. Good job, guys. Let's try another one. Still finding the missing number. This time, we have 3 is to blank equals 48 is to 80. Let's try to find the missing number in this equation or given ratio on the left side. We have 3 is to a number. And the second ratio, which is equivalent to that, is 48 is to 80. What we can do is, this time, we find a number that we can divide to 48 that will give us an answer which is equal to 3. And that is equal to 16. Which means we will divide 48 by 16 for us to be able to get 3. Therefore, for 80, we will do the same thing. We will divide 80 by 16. And by doing that, we will get 5. That means the ratio on the left, the missing number, is equal to 5. We can now say that 3 is to 5 is equal to the ratio 48 is to 80. This time, try to answer this given item. If I have 15 is to 12 and blank is to 4, what is the missing number so that this two ratio will be equivalent to each other? I'll give you 10 seconds to do that. You may now answer. If your answer is 5, then you are correct. The answer is 5. Let us explain how we got our answer 5. From the first ratio 15 is to 12, we know that it is equivalent to a number is to 4. This time, we need to find a number we can divide to 12 to get 4. And that is by dividing 12 by 3 to get 4. Which means we will be doing the same thing to the number on the left side, which is 15. We will divide 15 by 3. And that will give us an answer which is equal to 5. So we can now say that 15 is to 12 is equivalent ratio to 5 is to 4. Did you get that one? Good job. That's it for now, and I hope you learned how to find equivalent ratio and the missing number for given ratio. Until next time,